So we would like to officially begin, and I'd like to start off by saying good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Stephanie Allen, and I am the Assistant Director within the Division of Professional Studies. I want to welcome you to the UMBC Data Science Virtual Open House. Before we begin, I'd like to go over some housekeeping items. Please note that this session is being recorded for quality assurance purposes. In order to provide the best experience for you and all of the other attendees, please keep your microphone muted throughout the entire session until we reach the Q&A period. Within 2 weeks following tonight's session, our marketing team will be sending each attendee a copy of tonight's video recording. If you are in need of closed captioning, please feel free to send me a message in the WebEx chat box. If questions arise during the presentation, please also feel free to utilize that same WebEx chat feature to submit your question. In addition, we have outlined a formal Q&A period at the end of the presentation to address all questions. However, in the event that we are unable to answer your question tonight, either I or Dr. Simsek can be reached via email. We hope that you enjoy the presentation, and without further ado, I introduce you to the Graduate Program Director, Dr. Ergin Simsek.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. I hope you guys hear me. Actually, before we start, can I share this poll with you? There are basically two questions. One of them is which describes you best. The other one is whether you are a domestic or international student. So let me open the poll. And so could you please answer these two questions quickly? Apparently, almost 70% of you haven't submitted an application. Interesting. That's nice. You are thinking about submitting an application. Very nice. All right, so now we can officially start. So by the way, this was my first time running a poll over WebEx. So thanks so much for your participation. So the results are like the following: 70% thinking about applying, 25% right now domestic, 56% international, 19% didn't respond. All right, it seems like we are a group of data scientists, so you should know. You should be familiar with collecting data and analyzing it. So let me start my PowerPoint file. Then we can have officially start. I hope you can see it. So once again, my name is Ergin Simsek. As you can understand from my accent, I am not from here. I'm originally from Turkey, but I spent 20 years in the United States. And that here, I'm not sure if you can see my mouse pointer, but this is our IT building. Information technology and engineering building, and normally my office is here, and this is our beautiful campus. Hopefully we will see you guys next semester at our beautiful UMBC campus. So my email address is simsek@umbc.edu, and if you have questions, please feel free to email me. Normally I get back to you. I will get back to you in 24 hours unless it's a weekend. So today, again, this is the open house for our main campus students, but you should also know that actually we have another campus somewhere very close to Rockville, and we call it Shady Grove campus. And we are running these data science programs actually at our both campuses. And if you are living somewhere in the middle, somewhere between Rockville and Baltimore, you should know that you can take courses from either campus. That's okay. You just need to let us know. So if you're a main campus student and if you're interested in taking a class from our Shady Grove campus, you just need to give a permit, and it's just one email. Very simple. Okay. All right. Let's start with a couple of basic information, then about data science, then some basic information about our program, and some fundamental information about application procedure. Then we will have a Q&A session. Right? So the first question you should ask is, of course, what is data science? So if you ask this question to different people, different data scientists, I'm sure they all will come up with their own definition. But last year, National Academy of Engineers and Scientists, they come up with a definition, and they say data science is knowledge discovery from often large and complex data sets. So this definition is really nice, but it doesn't include AI, like artificial intelligence, like, explicitly. But the second part of the definition continues. It says that this is an interdisciplinary field which encompasses like statistics, computer science, applied math, and some domain-specific tools. So this is why actually we are requiring all of our students to have some background in statistics, linear algebra, and programming. And if you don't meet one of these conditions, that's fine. We will talk about them in the following slides. And as I showed you before we start, I shared this video with you guys. Like, so in that video, you saw 40 of our spring 2021 graduates and where they work right now. So this is really beautiful. This is really so powerful, and I'm so proud of this thing. That data science right now it is in super high demand, and all of our graduate students, all of our graduates. They are very successful in terms of finding really nice jobs, especially finding really nice, well-paying jobs. So there are a couple of statistics you should look at. So for example, Maryland, or the average salary of a data scientist with a master's degree is around 110K. And I can see this number in our graduates' salaries. In DC, the salaries are slightly over. Of course, this is an average salary. Okay, thank you. So this is an average. So some people with more knowledge, more experience, of course, they make more than this amount of money. So some people who have no experience, just like a master's degree from our program, of course, they make less than this that salary. But it's really nice that again, almost all of our graduates, they were able to find very nice jobs even before they graduate. So another nice thing is this was conducted by US Bureau of Labor Statistics, and they were expecting 20% of increase in the number of jobs, data scientist jobs, from 2014 to 2024. And if you look at the past 7 years, actually the growth is even bigger than that. It is about like 30%. And the funny thing is, so this is a survey conducted on data scientists, and they asked the following question. So how often do you get contacted for new job opportunities? And here's look at the middle part. 50% of the people, they said they receive new job opportunities through like LinkedIn or like personal emails at least once a week. So this is really true. This is really happening. Since the number of data scientists available in industry is like much less than the demand, they are like recruiters, headhunters. They are constantly approaching our graduates and other data scientists to offer them like new opportunities. But we should understand, right, why right now data science is super hot. Why not like 15 years ago? Why not like 10 years after today? Why it is super hot right now? And there are like multiple reasons. And normally I say like 4 reasons. Number one, the amount of data we are generating is just exploding, like just increasing. With all of our cell phones, smart tablets, or GPS devices, with every picture you upload to Instagram or Facebook, or every video you upload to like TikTok or whatever you are doing, actually that is a strong piece of information. So when you upload a picture, it's not only a picture, right? So Facebook visual engineers, they compress and they analyze those images to understand everything in the background. So they are trying to learn about your lifestyle, your like what kind of tools do you have in your home, what are missing, your average income, and etc. etc. Like, but from actually a good friend of mine, he works at Facebook and he's an image processing engineer, and he says with only 3 images we can predict someone's political views, average income, and some other stuff just with only 3 images. Okay, so that's really both dangerous and beautiful. So the data is increasing, right? The other thing is Storing data is just getting cheaper and cheaper. It's like on the right top, you see this big capacitor, which was built by IBM in 1950s. And they were selling this capacitor, like a hard drive, for $50,000. Okay, so 5 megabytes of data for $50,000. But now if you go to Amazon.com, then you can buy a USB like stick, which can hold 1 terabyte of data, like $60, $50, you name it. Like yesterday or the day before yesterday, I received an email. So they sell 32 gigabytes of RAM for $100, like $100. Unbelievable. Like 10 years ago, I purchased this workstation with 120 gigabytes of RAM, and I paid $20,000. So this is real. Like, this is happening. So storing data is just getting cheaper and cheaper. And the third component is these bad boards. So like these are called GPUs and TPUs. It's like graphics processing units. So they are specifically designed and fabricated to work with data sets. And they can speed up machine learning processes, or even like any kind of matrix operations, FFTs, pseudo inversions, whatever you want, hundreds of times. Just because of this, there's a huge reduction in the computation time, and this is why like data science is picking up. I'm sorry. And the fourth thing is, the field of data science is super welcome. So you might have a background in subject X, which has nothing to do with data science. That's okay. There's a piece for you. There's a seat for you in the field of data science. So this is not true for most of the fields. Like for example, like my original background is in electrical engineering. So when I was submitting papers to physics journals, they were like, "Oh, come on, like you are an EE. Why are you submitting to a journal to physics journal? Like, what's wrong with it?" So that's not happening with the field of data science. Again, they are very welcoming. Data scientists, they generally share their codes, their subroutines or like notebooks through their GitHub accounts very freely. All those like modules or functions. So like the last time I checked, there were more than 120,000 modules freely available for Python users. So by the way, in our program, we heavily use Python. So if you're thinking about joining us, and if you don't know much about Python, please start studying Python from today. There are so many free resources on the internet, free books, free videos, free tutorials. But the earlier you start, it's better. All right, so let's continue now with our program, but give me a second. So at UMBC, we have basically two programs. So one of them is the graduate certificate in data science, and the other one is the Master of Professional Studies in Data Science. The certificate, it's very simple. There are only 4 courses you need to take, and I will explain them in a minute. So they are like fixed. You just need to take these 4 courses. But MPS, like Master of Professional Studies, it's a slightly more complicated. So let me use my following slides to explain them. The graduate certificate in data science, it really provides a good starting point of for anyone to become to work in the field of data science. And we have like 4 courses, like Introduction to Data Science, Introduction to Machine Learning, platforms for big data, and database management. And again, like these four courses are definitely enough to have a really good start, to have a good strong start. So the numbering is slightly misleading. So if you are thinking about joining us for a certificate degree, so I would if you are planning to take 2 courses, I would recommend you to take 601 and 604 in your first semester, and the other 2 in your second semester. But I have to tell you, almost all of the students who join our program only for certificates, they decided to stay. And I can even give you their names, their stories, and some of them are really very powerful. But again, if you just plan to join us for a certificate degree, you are more than welcome, but I bet you will stay with us for more. Okay, so certificate is super easy. Okay, then now let's continue with NPS. So this slide is a little bit overcrowded. So let me guide you step by step. So first of all, we are not an MS program, okay, Master of Science. We are not an MS program. We are an NPS program, like Master of Professional Studies. So our main function, objective is preparing workforce for the field of data science. Of course, like we teach theory, but the amount of theories that we teach is much less than the regular MS program. For example, Master of Science and Computer Science, they don't care about applications. So what they care about is pure the theory behind machine learning algorithms or deep learning algorithms. So in our case, again, the main focus is application. So we will be using tools, modules, so many of them without losing you. But again, even though we provide theory, but the theoretical part is not our main thing. Our main thing is how you can apply like linear regression to this problem. How you can create like a neural network in an efficient way, not by using all like hundreds of thousands of layers or like hundreds of thousands of neurons. So that we teach how to design the neural network which will give you the optimum solution. Okay? But how TensorFlow works is not our problem. We just assume it works and we use it. Okay. Well, by the way, there's a third program at UMBC, MS in Information Systems. It is somewhere in between. Okay? It's somewhere in between MS in Computer Science and MPS in Data Science. But in order to go to like MS in Computer Science, you are supposed to have an undergraduate degree in computer science. In order to go to information systems, it's the same thing. So MPS in like data science, that we don't require a background in computer science. But I have to tell you, at least 30% of our graduates, they have a background in computer science. Okay, maybe like 35. So right now, all of our courses are either online or on campus, but they are always in the evenings. So right, like we are receiving some requests to teach during the weekends, teach sometimes during the weekdays. So in the spring we will not start, but maybe in the fall you might start offering courses in the daytime. But again, majority of the courses have to be offered in the evenings because majority of our students are working professionals. Like they have full-time jobs, and also this is true for our instructors. I will show you in the following slides. That 95% of our instructors are adjuncts, so they are working. They have like full-time jobs, working as like a data scientist or some other cool titles, but they can only come to campus after 5 p.m. So we don't require GRE, and our students do not write thesis. Okay, so if you are interested in doing research, that's more than welcome. But you don't have to do it. You don't have to write a thesis, but you will do a capstone project. And this is a data, the figure that you see on the lower bottom, the left lower bottom. So that's a very powerful picture because it says, so green one is like analytics people, the blue one is data scientists, and 50% of the data scientists, by the way, this is the very new data, like 2020 data, 50% of those people have a master's degree. Of course, the others, like 44% have a PhD. And like around 8%, they have a bachelor's degree or so. So really, if you go to an employer and if you tell them like I have a master's degree in data science, it really works. It really opens the doors, and can talk to our graduates, and can talk to our students, and you will see the effect of having an MPS degree. Okay, let me talk about our program. So for MPS, like Master of Professional Studies Data Science, you will be required to take 10 courses. Of course, if you want to take more courses, that's more than welcome, but at least 10 courses. And several of these courses are fixed, like Data 601 to Data 606, they are fixed. And we also have one class on engineering management. So Data 605 is our ethics class, and Data 606 is our capstone. So you will be doing a capstone project with your classmates. So you will be creating a team of like 4 or 5 data scientists, but data scientists with different interests. Hopefully, like one of you will be like interested in machine learning, another one will be interested in like database management, another one will be interested in let's say big data tools. So like team of people with different interests will work on real large data sets, but on like real world data problems. Okay. And then you are supposed to take 3 more courses, and these 3 courses, we have a huge pool of courses that you can take. Let me, sorry. So like We call them like pathways. You can choose those courses from, but let me tell you in the very beginning, you don't have to stick with a single pathway. You can choose courses from different pathways. But of course, if you choose a single pathway and if you take 3 courses from the same pathway, it will be advantageous. And you, for example, let's say you studied data science here, but you took you take like 3 courses from the cybersecurity program, right? And you can go to an employer and you can tell them, look, I studied data science at UMBC. I have a master's degree, but by the way, I have those 3 courses specifically focusing on cybersecurity. So I feel like, no, I'm ready for a cybersecurity / data scientist job. So it really works. We have several pathways like cybersecurity, health IT, management, public policy, advanced computing, etc., etc. But some of them requires an undergraduate degree. For example, if you are interested in advanced computing, it means you will be taking courses from the CS department. And most of the time, those advanced courses have prerequisites. So if you don't have an undergraduate degree in computer science, I'm sorry, you will not be able to take those advanced courses from the CS department. But don't worry, we have something called like Data Science Plus, because we also have advanced data science classes. So actually, like we have 3 different groups of classes, like elective courses. In the first one, we have foundational data science courses. So we created these courses to help our students who misses something. Let's say like you took a class on statistics like 15 years ago and you don't remember. That's fine. So you can take our statistical analysis and visualization class. So you in the first 5 weeks you will be covering basics of Python, and the remaining 9 weeks is focusing on that statistics. But of course you will be doing some like data visualization as well. So we have another course. Again, if you don't remember much about like matrix operations or vector calculations, then you can take this mathematical foundations for machine learning class. It's a very nice class. And the instructor of this class is super cool. He's a data scientist working at Google. So he's at the West Coast. A great, very cool guy. Okay. And then we have another course on like Python programming, but this is more like advanced Python programming. So let's say you know basics of Python programming, but you don't know much, especially you don't have experience in object-oriented programming. That's fine. You can take this class. Okay. Then we have another 2 groups of data science courses. One of them are called like applied. One of them is creating like data-driven web applications. Again, very cool one. Then like financial data science. So if you're thinking about a career in fintech, this is a class to take. And then we have advanced data science courses. So these 3, they require data 602. Like you have to complete our machine learning class to take the modern practical deep learning. And the other 2. So the instructor of this class, Dr. Edward Raff, he has his own deep learning book. And he works as a senior data scientist for Booz Allen, super cool guy. And even I took this class from him, and I really learned a lot. So you will learn all the secrets of building neural networks, how to optimize them, and more. So we have another class on NLP, like natural language processing. So if you don't know much about NLP, you will be surprised how much you can do with text data and some other stuff. And we have another course taught by Arif Telefuente. So now she works for NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is one of those companies who makes those GPUs and TPUs. They also make robots. And she's teaching this course by using Jetson Nanos, and they are teaching those robots doing computer vision and object detection and more. And like there are so many other pathways I told you. So if you go to our website, datascience.umbc.edu, under the Masters tab, you will see all the pathways available to you. So I am here going to highlight only 2 of them. So for example, in cybersecurity, we list these 3 courses. Of course, there are some other courses as well. But if you take these 3 courses, and if you apply for the certificate, then you will get a certificate in cybersecurity. And same thing with the project management. If you take these 3 courses specifically, and if you apply for a certificate, then you will get a project management certificate. From employer's perspective, certificates are also like useful, powerful. Some of our current students, who have like full-time jobs, they use these certificates to get a promotion. And when they complete their masters, they apply for another promotion. So very smart. Again, like we have these so many courses, so many pathways. Please go to our website and learn about them. And like I have office hours every Wednesday from 9:30 to 11:30. If you have questions, if you are going to learn about more about them, please join my office hours. Right, I thought about this. So we have like more than 20 adjuncts, 2 full-time faculty members, and like the third one will be joining us soon. But these are really great people. So I cannot talk about highly of them enough. You can pick anyone, but let me talk about them. Like for example, Dr. Murat, he's one of the other full-timers. He got his PhD from Rochester, and he's a guru on statistical learning. Dr. Oster, he has a PhD from Ohio State, and he works as like a super senior data scientist at a really cool company. So Andy, he's one of big data professors. Walid, the same thing. So Walid works for IBM, and he's a powerful guy. As I told you, Paddy works for NVIDIA, Sunala works for AT&T, Dongoa works for Databricks. Okay. Hutaifa works for Booz Allen, Dr. Diana works for FAA, Federal Aviation Administration. And Charles, he has his own company, and he keeps hiring our students. So he's another very cool guy. And of course, this one, Dr. Arvishik, he's the best one, best of the best, for sure. So this semester I'm teaching 601. Next semester, if you want to take the 601. So we have a blog, Greeting Action. So if you go to like greetingaction.umbc.edu, you can learn more about our professional programs. But this, there are so many links about our former students, their success, and these are really great documents. So please take a look. For example, here you see Jessica. So Jessica had an undergraduate degree. She was so smart. She said, okay, she saw the potential of data science in psychology. She joined our program. She did a beautiful job in terms of course load and capstone project. Now she's a senior data scientist at Nielsen. So this guy, Nick, he was really smart. Right after taking just 2 courses, he went to his employer and he asked, like, hey, look, like, I'm going to be a data scientist. So give me some salary increase. So he got a salary increase of 56%. This is really crazy amount of increase. And if you go to this video that I shared in the beginning, that you will see really nice examples of our very recent graduates. By the way, like I didn't even go to like spring 2019 graduates. No, I just look at the graduates from the last year. And in this video, that we only have like maybe 40 profiles. They have actually more than 60 graduates, and they are all doing well. But of course, in this video, we try to give you examples from all different perspectives, like domestic, international, male, female, young, old, like all of them. So you will see that really our program is working. So before I stop and give the microphone to Stephanie, there are a couple of questions I always receive. Let me answer them quickly. So can I take courses from different pathways? Yes, you can. Can I take courses from Shady Grove campus? Yes, you can. Do you have assistantships and scholarships? So as the data science program, not really, but some other programs, like other departments, they have assistantships and scholarships, and they share those information through UMBC Works. But in order to have access to UMBC Works, you have to be admitted. So once you get your UMBC address, please go to UMBC Works and see what kind of opportunities are available. How do we help with finding internships? So like, for example, on October 21st, there will be a career workshop, and there will be 40 companies. So our career center is really great. They really help with connecting people to those companies. They share opportunities. I also share opportunities through our emails. But our career center will also help you with preparing your resume. They can even give you like mock interviews. Okay, but let's say like you want to interview for a data science position, so they have all those questions and answers. So you go to them and you have that fake interview. And of course, like we will try our best to provide you help in finding an internship. But at the end, it is students' responsibility. But I have to tell you, like our students are finding internships very easily. So another question: what if I don't have any coursework or experience on subject X? So we have like there are, like, as I told you in the beginning, there are so many free online courses, online resources. Okay, so you can go to these websites like Coursera or edX, and you can take those online courses to complete to learn about Python programming, to learn about statistics, to learn about linear algebra, and you don't have to show me a certificate. You don't have to pay the money. Okay, we are only interested in whether you really know how Python programming works or not. Okay, don't care about certificates, or you will be getting. Don't do that. But we need to know that. We need to make sure that you have enough background so you can be a successful data scientist. And again, about the thesis requirement, no, there's no thesis requirement in our program. And now I can stop talking and give the microphone to Stephanie. Stephanie, are you here?
I am here. Yes, I am.
Okay.
So I'm going to take just a few minutes to discuss admission requirements in the application process, and then we'll turn it back over to Dr. Simsek, and then we will open it up for a formal Q&A session. So please begin getting your questions together. So in terms of admission requirements, to be applicable for admission consideration, all applicants must hold a bachelor's degree in any subject matter, but with a minimum GPA of 3.0 on the 4.0 scale. If your previous institution has a different scale, we do have graduate school administration who accurately converts for our committee review, so that's not an issue. All prior coursework should include calculus, statistics, and basic programming, such as Python, which is our main language of the program. If an applicant has work experience that would demonstrate abilities in programming, this may be a factor of consideration towards your requirements. However, if you do not have prior coursework or work experience, as Dr. Simsek shared earlier within the previous slides, we recommend you take online courses, specifically in statistics, linear algebra, and/or programming. While the GRE is not a requirement, international applicants must demonstrate proficiency in the English language by submitting one of the 3 tests as shared via screen. In addition, we are also currently accepting the Duolingo test report. All score reports must be less than 2 years old. Okay, in terms of the application process, you will apply online, which all applications are managed by our trusted partner, CollegeNet. And you can find the application link on screen here, or you may find it via the Data Science website under the How to Apply section. As part of the application packet, you'll need to request all official transcripts sent to the UMBC Graduate School. This can be done via US mail or via their email, gradschool@umbc.edu. I will say that although we ask for official transcripts for committee review, we can accept unofficial, but if you are admitted within the first semester of your program, you will be required to submit to the graduate school directly all of your official transcripts. And then as a reminder for those who are current UMBC students and or alumni, you still must request or personally upload your UMBC transcript within your application. It is not an automatic thing that because you are a UMBC student that we go and grab the transcript. For our international applicants, again, you must provide one of the English proficiency test reports, as well as we require you to submit 2 letters of recommendation, which must be on letterhead and signed by the recommender. Academic resume. This resume is a file that you have access to upload yourself, and many times I receive questions regarding what is best to include. What we're looking for is information such as your GPA, awards received, research experience, and any programming and coursework background that would be relevant towards program skills learned. And then your statement of purpose. This is your goal statement, and it's really where we get to know you, your background, and your academic intent in data science, as well as future career plans. It's also where you can briefly share any concerns of perhaps a lower GPA or for our international applicants, test report scores. We will address the $50 application fee at the very end, which I will say right now that all of you that have attended tonight will receive an application fee waiver. And again, we will discuss that at the very end. And then on the next slide, we'll just discuss for transfer credit. We do accept, I'm sorry, next slide. Okay, yes. We do accept up to 6 hours of graduate level coursework. In order to have this evaluated, you must send to my attention a completed UMBC transfer credit request form, and this is found via the UMBC website. We do ask that you do not send a general email including various document attachments. It must begin with the UMBC transfer credit request form. And then additional documents would be the course description, the syllabus, and the number of credits. So I will return at the end of the presentation to assist in answering any other questions, but at this time, I'll turn it back over to Dr. Simsek.
I just want to remind you one point, especially for our international participants right now. Since, well, by the way, as I told you in the beginning, I'm an international too, and I know what it takes to apply for a visa, get a visa, arrange the flight, etc., etc. So this is why actually we require our international students to submit their applications 1 month before our domestic students. So again, it's not a discrimination. This is for your good and also for our good. But so admission deadline for domestic students is December 1st, and for internationals, December 1. Okay. So like we have this official website like datascience.umbc.edu, but I also created this unofficial website like dil.umbc.edu to give you information about everything. Like, for example, the syllabus of our classes, they are there. If you're interested in learning about pathways, they are there. If you're interested in learning about, let's say, I don't know, you name it, like some tips about creating like a fancy resume, they are there. Okay. So please go to DIL. So DIL stands for like Data Impact Lab. Originally, that was the website for my research group, but because of this need, I converted into an information hub. Okay. So this is my email address, simsec@umbc.edu. Please feel free to email me about academic questions. If you have questions on administrative stuff like application, course registration, please send those questions to datascience-mps@umbc.edu. And this is the code that you need to use, like GPS 2022, to waive that $50 fee. Okay. If you have questions, then we will be more than happy to answer. Let me stop sharing.
Yes, Ergen, I do have a question that came to me privately, and it says, if anyone has prerequisites, has some prerequisites related to the coursework, can he or she reduce the course length?
No, you need to understand. So graduate programs, they require a certain number of credits, right? So it is not because what we want, but it is the requirement of being a graduate program, like Master of Science or Master of Professional Studies. We have to have 30 credits. We have to teach we have to have a course on engineering management, communication skills, and we have to have a course on data ethics. But the remaining 8, it depends on us. So like if you have taken, let's say a course on, I don't know, like machine learning, right? 602. So if it is 90% equivalent of our courses, then please come to me. As the GPD, I can work with the graduate school and I can tell them, look, this student only know about all machine learning techniques. So why don't we allow him or her to take a course on AI? So we can do that. but unfortunately, we cannot make it shorter.
All right, next question was, do you offer these courses in the winter and summer?
So winter semester is for short. It's only like 4 weeks, so we don't teach during the winter semester. But in the summer semester, we do. Like we teach at least 4 or 5 courses. So last year, because of COVID, because of pandemic, so many people like they were stuck, they were here, and they said like, why don't we have like more online courses? And we said, okay, that's fine. And actually last year we had 13 courses, but normally we don't do that. Normally we teach light courses like data ethics or engineering management in summer. Actually, it really helps our students to finish our program in 3 semesters or like 4 semesters. I would say like 16 months.
All right, another question. It's a question and it's a statement, but I believe there's a question embedded within it. And it says, I don't have any competency in calculus, statistics, and basic programming. And that was the statement. So I'm believing they're wanting you to readdress what we spoke about earlier.
Actually, like this is interesting. Like, why someone who has no calculus, statistics, and basic programming becomes interested in data science? And in our program, as I told you, like we have some really nice examples of those. We had one graduate. His undergraduate degree was in music. Another one, another 2, one public policy, two psychology. So they didn't have backgrounds. What they did is they took their time to learn. So they took online courses. Some of them took courses at UMBC. And when they were ready, then they applied to our programs. But again, we don't want you to just join us and become unsuccessful. Okay, that unsuccess is not only yours but also ours. So we are supposed to choose the best student, the right student for our program, and you are supposed to choose the right program for you as well. Okay, so if you are not ready, if you don't have calculus, statistics, Python, that's fine. But like, if I were you, I would take my time and I would spend maybe like following 6-7 months working on those subjects, then submitting an application. Probably spring 2022 is not a good one for you.
Okay, this says, hi, sir. I got admitted for spring 2022 intake for UMBC Data Science. What all things should I do to improve my skills and some tips before joining UMBC?
So the most important one, actually, most important ones are, of course, that you should be fluent in Python programming. So if you are not fluent in Python programming, that's fine, because in 601 we covered a little bit in the first, I would say like 4 to 5 weeks. But after that, we just fly, right? So if you are admitted, congratulations. So just start working on Python programming and using modules like pandas, NumPy, matplotlib, scipy, statistics. So just try to learn about those packages, how to use them. The other thing is, especially for our international students who study like computer science, they have a very weak knowledge, like poor knowledge in statistics, even though we admit that because they have this course like Calculus 3, and in Calculus 3 they cover like 6 weeks on statistics. That's not enough. So if you are serious about becoming a successful data scientist, so you should know like what is the meaning of a chi-square, right? So again, just do the basics, find those like free books or like online courses, but learn the basics of statistical analysis. And the last thing is you should be comfortable with matrix operations like inversion, pseudo inversion, like gradient descent, right? So again, like we teach them in our program. If you don't know, that's fine. But if you can learn them in advance, if you can join us after studying them, your job will be much more easier here than you can learn more here.
Excellent. How many credits is recommended to be the maximum wise amount to take? And if I have time to take 15 credits, would that be unwise?
Actually, I didn't understand this question very clearly. So like normally master programs like 30 credits. We're supposed to take 30 credits, right?
I think what they're asking, and again, for this person, if you want to even unmute at this point and ask aloud, you can do that to clarify. But they said about 15 credits. So I'm thinking they're meaning it within a semester. Could they do? Yeah.
Don't do like
Would that would take it, even if they had time, would taking 15 credits
no,
unwise?
graduate students cannot take more than 4 courses. And based on our statistics, I can make sure that taking 4 courses is not a good idea. Look, graduate courses are not like undergraduate courses. Like, for example, me and my class, my students have like they spend 10 hours per week. Okay. Of course, if you have background, you don't have to spend that much. But so they have this 2.5 hours of class, right? So they go home, okay, go to their dorms, then they review whatever they covered. And there's this homework assignment, they work on that material like for 2-3 hours. Then I have some like additional like projects or like some challenge questions. So each course will take like lots of hours. Again, this changes from one to another, but this is why like we should communicate, right? So let's say in your first semester here, you should not take 601, 602, 603 if you have a full-time job. Then you will be there. It is too much. But you should act smart, right? You can take 601 and then 605. Why? 605 it's not a technical class, it's data ethics. You read articles, you write something, you ask questions, that's it. So this is why we should communicate. Then like taking 3 courses is 100% doable. If you don't have a full-time job, you might like to take 4 courses. Again, we have some international students, they did that. I have to tell you, like they are busy. They work like 40, 50 hours per week to become successful.
What are the steps to achieve a PhD in data science while doing your undergraduate?
Okay, if you are interested in applying for a PhD, first of all, don't think about our program. So you should go to MS in CS. Okay, so our program prepares people for industry. Okay, so we don't give theoretical. We don't provide very theoretical rich education. But in PhD programs, they look for the theoretical background. So if you're interested in PhD, I'm sorry, my friend, but our program is not the best program for you. You should go to MS in CS, focusing on data science.
Can I still apply even if I haven't received my bachelor degree yet, or should I wait?
If this is your final year, you don't have to wait. You can apply. So we don't require experience. As long as you graduate from the program, you can join us. But you don't have to wait.
Does the spring intake have disadvantages over the fall intake in terms of job and internship opportunities?
Yes, they do. I will be very honest with you. So if you're an international student, the first drawback is you have to spend 2 full semesters here in order to get your CPT, like work permit, right? So this means spring 2022, you will be studying with us. Fall 2022, you will be studying with us. Then in January 2023, you will be able to work off campus. Okay, so that is advantage number one. So the fall admins, they can start working right after like, I don't know, 8 months. Right? But they join us in September and then they finish their second semester in May, then they can work in June. So that is drawback number one. And drawback number two is this: if you're going to stay with us like for 4 semesters, right, then you will be graduating towards December. And this is a very well-known fact. In the United States, the number of jobs created and number of new employments are the minimum in December. So in January it starts to pick up, but because of those holiday seasons like Christmas and some other stuff, so December is the worst one. So I'll be really frank with you. Spring semester is problematic from these perspectives. So, but you can try to finish in 3 semesters. There are ways of doing that.
If I do a data science certificate course, then decide to pursue a master's degree in data science, will my course transfer?
Yeah. You just fill one form, then everything will be transferred.
Okay. There was a private question to me, and again, I always read them aloud for the in case there's other information for other applicants. And it says, "Is there an application fee waiver for fall 2022?" Currently, the application fee waiver is associated with spring 2022, but a lot of times, if it's within the same year, it remains the same thing. So what I mean by that is spring 22 and fall 22 are usually the same application fee waiver. Now, that said, there can be some changes. So if you are looking to apply for fall, I would not attempt to use that waiver, but I would have just asked that you reach out to me to confirm so that you're not kicked out of the application while you're trying to put in that waiver. Okay, you answered this before, but because it was asked again, I want to be fair. And it said, can one pursue a PhD in data science after the MPS?
So right now, we don't have any example. Like all of our graduates, they're just going to industry and working. And like if you are applying to me as a PhD candidate, saying that, hey, I have a background in MPS, that I have an PhD in data science, I'd like to do a PhD with you. Depending on your GPA, GRE score, and other stuff, and also like your resume and what kind of projects you did, I might be interested in you. But here's the thing. So my research is in the applications of data science. So I'm not developing machine learning algorithms. I'm not trying to create new deep learning algorithms. There are some algorithms, I'm just using them, and I'm trying to actually solve problems in photonics. I'm trying to design photonic devices with machine learning. So in my case, I am not applier. So in that case, I might be interested in working with you. But again, if it's a PhD in computer science or data science, then it might be a tough sell. Again, I would recommend you to go to MS and CS programs.
Okay. This question says, I'm trying to paraphrase it here. How can I do a master's in 3 semesters? Can you provide light on that?
Now, it's super simple. Let me tell you how. So in the spring semester, you will be taking like 3 courses, right? Then in the summer, you will take 1 more. Now it's like 4 courses. And in the fall and the following spring, you will be taking 3 courses each. And 10 courses you will be done. You will join us at the end of January 2022, and you will be graduating at the end of spring 2023, which is like 16 months. By the way, there are so many students doing that. International students mostly, since like they have to take 3 courses per semester, so they say, okay, I will take just 1 more course during the summer, and I will be done in 3 courses. But there are some catches. To me, from my perspective, the biggest catch is the following. So finding the best job, but I'm not saying finding a job. I'm saying that finding the best job takes time, right? So you will be writing, you will be preparing your resumes, and you will be writing cover letters, but you will be writing different cover letters, and you will be tailoring your resume for different types of jobs. Let's say you're applying for a data scientist job, one type of cover letter, one type of resume. But let's say you're applying for a data analyst job, right? So it really takes time. On the other hand, interviews take lots of time, right? But when I talk to our recent graduates, they say the minimum number of interviews they go through is like 6. So they talk to 6 different people at different times. Like one day it's 2 hours with an HR, another day they talk to the machine learning engineers for like 1 hour. So those interviews will take time. So when you are taking 3 courses in your last semester, and since you need to spend lots of time on those job applications and interviews, it's quite difficult. So this is why I would recommend not to try to finish in 3 months, 3 semesters. The other thing is the experience, right? They always ask for experience. So while you are rushing to graduate, you will not have enough time to get experience. Like look at our international, so our domestic students, they're already working. But look at our international students. In their last year, after completing 2 semesters, they all have full-time jobs. So they work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then they come to our program, right? Because that experience is really one of the keys for finding a better job. as I told you, like in the beginning, like one of our very recent graduates, she's a data scientist for IBM. Right? Another one, Amazon. So these are really big successes, but these people all play the game very right, very, very smart. So you should do the same.
This says, I earned my undergraduate over 20 years ago. I was not a stellar student at the time and do not have a 3.0. Is it even worth me pursuing this course through UMBC?
Okay, Eric, I will be very honest with you. I am in the same situation. I graduated 20 years ago and my GPA was less than 3.0. Okay. So if you have a true interest in data science and if you think you will spend time in front of your computer, again, in the beginning, it will be frustrating. Okay, so what is Python? What is Anaconda? What is Jupyter Notebook? How I do know? If you are in that situation, that's fine. We have so many people who join our program and they ended up with real nice job. I can give you a name. I think Kenneth won't be sad with this thing. So, for example, Kenneth. So Kenneth Redden, he joined our program only for certificate, by the way, because he was in a financial difficult situation. And he studied like, math, teaching math in the college. And he was 40 plus years old. And he said, like, I'm going to bet my last money on this. But when he told me this, actually, I was like, I was about to go crazy. But so he joined us. He worked really hard for every class, every homework, every assignment. If he couldn't do it on his own, oh, by the way, like we have graduate tutors. So he went to our graduate tutors. He got help. And you know what he did? Now he works as a junior data scientist. And now he's in our program to get his master's. So this is, from my end, this is a true success story. And as I told you, like we have so many of them. But again, you have to work. You have to work really hard. Because the market is competitive. There are so many people who want to work as a data scientist. So you have to build your portfolio while you are here. And like how you will build that portfolio, we will help you, we will teach you. But like, the short answer is, sorry, if you are willing to work, yes, you should. It is worth pursuing these courses. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Simsek. We have probably about, I'll say 5 more minutes. It's right at 7 o'clock, but we'll stay on for about 5 more minutes for other questions. I'm going to read one more question that I see in the chat box. Please, again, feel free over this next 2 to 3 minutes to begin to submit your questions in the chat, and then we will probably come to a close around 7:05. So, Dr. Simsek, this next question was, are there any on-campus jobs available for spring intake that you're aware of?
Like personally, like from data science program perspective, yes, for example, we have graduate tutors, but we only select our graduate tutors from our data science students who have completed data 601 to data 604 so that they can help our junior students. So the answer within the DPS program, data science program, no to the new students. And again, like most of the time, our students, they were able to find jobs. Sometimes they were able to find jobs in the middle of the semester. Sometimes they were able to find jobs maybe in their second semester. So it happens. And by the way, on campus, we have so many different jobs. Some people are working with professors in the economic departments, and some people working in the cafeteria. And by the way, there is nothing wrong with that, because I did the same thing. When I came here for the first time, for a short period of time, I worked as a delivery guy. Okay. I made some money, it helped, okay? So there's there's nothing wrong with that. So we cannot guarantee that you will get a job, because it's a battle and we have so many students, but you should work hard to find one. But first semester is tough. I will say maybe that starting from your second semester.
For tutors, do you need to sign up in advance?
Okay, let me just share my website. Chrome. So can you see it? So this is our information hub that I just mentioned, right? So dil.umbc.edu. So here, if you go to the bottom, it says like Fall 21 Graduate Tutor Schedule. So you just click it, then you will see from Monday to Thursday, we have 2 people every day from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So if you email them in advance, that will be great, especially with your question or notebook, because then they can prepare. They can find the answer, they can help you. But if you don't have to, you can just join their WebEx meetings. You can ask them questions right away. But again, it would be so nice if you can let them know in advance. But again, this website is full of information. Just go to courses, look at data science courses. So these are the like for example, let's say I don't know, statistical analysis courses. So you will learn what you will be learning in this class. Everything is just given here, right? You can go to pathway and certificates. So these are the pathways. You can go to like certificates, and they can teach you what you should do, what you should do to apply for a graduate certificate. Like assistantship, financial aid, internships, some links, forms, policies, and also some information about like prospective students, and also our faculty members. Like if you just go there, you will see like at least their email addresses. Okay, so this is a very useful page. Please bookmark it if you are serious about joining our program.
Okay, that was the last question. And as Dr. Simsek was talking, you'll see in the chat, I also put that link that he was just in for the website. You will get valuable information. Okay, another question. Excellent. What jobs would a person get if they go towards a path in healthcare?
So like first, go to din.umbc.edu because there's a dedicated page to answer that question. Okay, like what kind of jobs our graduates do, right? The other thing is, please watch that video because in that video you will see some examples. Like they studied data science and they took some courses on health IT, and right after graduation they work for companies like Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is a healthcare provider, a New Wave, which is a really big contractor of like healthcare business. Some of them joined NIH because they have a background in some sort of like biology or life sciences. So they joined NIH. At least 2 of them. So like there are so many opportunities. AstraZeneca, their efforts us a lot. They are asking for people who knows about chemistry a little bit to apply to like pharmaceutical. So and also don't think that like when you get your degree you have to work in the greater DC, Maryland, Virginia area, because like, in terms of like pharmaceutical business, there are some like hubs like Boston, also like West Coast, so you can also find jobs there. But again, like if you are good, if you have high GPA, if you can provide them some experience, and if you are good at communicating, then you will be able to find university jobs like data science or data analysis for healthcare companies and also pharmaceutical companies.
Are the classes for spring 2022 on campus or online?
So we have both. Actually, just work on that assignment today. I believe we have like 10 online courses and 17 in-person courses.
All right, and this is going to be the last question for the evening. And of course, when I say for the evening, we would want you to reach out to either me or Dr. Simsek for any kind of follow-up that you have. But the question here, and both Dr. Simsek and I can give feedback to this. So the student says, how many days does it take for an admission decision for an international applicant if I apply in a couple of days? So would you like to answer that or me, Dr. Simsek?
You can go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Great question. And we definitely want you to apply. Please note that this is such a strong, reputable program that we do application review in the order that they're received. So right now there may be 100 applications before yours. So we are processing in the order received and in the order of completion. And I say that because as we're looking at applications, sometimes one of the references is not in. Everything else will be complete, but the reference isn't in. We cannot review until the application is 100% complete. However, what you will receive is information from us directly If the application is incomplete, we will share with you if it is. But again, if you apply within 2 days, your application is complete, you'll look at an average right now of between 4 to 6 weeks. Now, Dr. Simsek did say to you that the application deadline for international applicants is November 1. That means no new applications after November 1. If you began your application before November 1, we will continue to work with you and we will continue to review applications throughout the rest, through the end of the year. But again, just not any new international applications after November 1. Okay, Dr. Simsek, if you would please do me a favor, if you will go and just share on screen that the PowerPoint slide that gives both of our emails.
Oh no, I just
Did you shut it down? No problem. No problem at all. Yeah, no problem at all. I can open that up as well. But again, if anyone has any questions after tonight, Dr. Simsek has put his email there. I can quickly put where you can reach me. And that is, I'm doing a quick copy and paste here. And that is right there. So you can reach Dr. Simsek at umbc.edu and me at Data Science MPS. The reason that you see the general one instead of just my personal one is because data science is such a large program. We do have assistants that assist us in answering emails of inquiry for prospective students. So that is where it's best for you to email. And then once you become an admitted student, you would work more directly with Dr. Simsek and myself. So again, those are the two emails. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out to come and join us and learn more about our programs. We do have your email addresses, so you will be included in all of our marketing efforts. As I said at the top of the session, a copy of this PowerPoint presentation will be sent to each of you that attended tonight. However, it does come in about a week and a half to 2 weeks, and it comes from our marketing department. So please ensure that you're looking out. It won't come from Dr. Simsek or myself. So please be on the lookout from the marketing department of UMBC within about a week and a half to 2 weeks at the most. If by 2 weeks you don't receive this, definitely feel free to reach out to me at datascience-mps at umbc.edu, and I'll definitely get a copy of that to you. Dr. Simsek, would you want to have closing remarks?
No, thanks so much for your time. I hope to see you guys at UMBC next semester.
You're very welcome to everyone in the chats. Have a great evening and stay safe.
Good night. Bye-bye. Let's go have some dinner.
Yes.